Welcome to Kit Katastrophe. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Siege Voyager Class Seeker Nova Storm. This figure came out in 2019 as part of the Target exclusive Seeker 3-pack, and is a redeco of Siege Starscream. Much like his original mold mate, Nova Storm turns into a Cybertronian jet fighter reminiscent of the Tetrajets seen in the pilot episode of the original cartoon. Although, of course, Nova Storm didn't make an appearance until the episode Divide and Conquer, just like his pack-in mates. Unlike Starscream and pretty much every other Seeker, Nova Storm is yellow! A very blinding, eye-searing yellow. Yeah, out of the three Rainmakers, Nova Storm's color is my least favorite. Strangely, Nova Storm, as well as the other two Rainmakers, have the exact same paint mask as Starscream when it comes to the trademark Siege battle damage effects. Unlike Starscream, the rest of Nova Storm's coloration is completely drab and dull. The only other color besides yellow in this jet mode is gray. Gray, gray, gray. Excuse me while I gouge my eyes out. Unsurprisingly, the transformation is exactly the same as Starscream's, but there is good news in the fact that Nova Storm's chest plate doesn't fall off its hinge whatsoever. It seems that whatever issue plagued the first run of Starscream's has been fixed. I can affirm that the same is true for Ion Storm, Acid Storm, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, but I have no way to confirm if Redwing has the issue or not, so best check someone else's review of him to find out. Otherwise, the transformation is still just as solid as it was on Starscream, with no major issues whatsoever. Robot mode is very yellow. Yes, the designers for Siege decided to go all in on the monochrome onesie look for the Rainmakers. Needless to say, it probably wasn't the best decision, at least for Nova Storm. He looks pretty dreadful, and he still has the same paint mask for the weathering on his robot mode parts too. Really, the only things that actually break up what could generously be called a color scheme are some bits of gray on his wings and nipples, as well as his unchanged head. It's the exact same sculpt as Starscream's, with the same light piping to boot. I almost forgot to mention the single stripe of white along his midriff. Yep, that surely ties everything together. Nova Storm comes with two HPI null-ray laser launchers, which are unchanged from Starscream's besides their coloration. Nova Storm's posability is exactly the same as Starscream, so I'll try to be brief. At the head, he has a ball joint that goes all the way around, and it can go up and down, and it can wobble just a little bit, which is pretty cool. He has an outward hinge so that he may T-pose. He has a joint that makes him go forward, a joint at the wings that make them go backward, a joint that makes them go backwards in a different direction. That doesn't make sense. He has a bicep swivel. He has a double-jointed elbow. He has a wrist swivel. Yay! He has a waist swivel that gets impeded by his shoulder pylons. He has a joint there that makes him kick. He has a really good knee. He has an outward joint so he can scrape the taint. He has a thigh swivel that goes all the way around, and he has an ankle pivot, and a rocking ankle, and a pointing toe, and a closing heel. You know, this is something I haven't mentioned on Starscream, but you can actually really get him to, like, squat down really well, so he can do a little Russian dance. Out of the three Rainmakers, Nova Storm is my least favorite, but really, preferences can only be had with the generic Seekers by their color, so that's not saying much. I'm grateful that the single worst quality control issue Starscream had was fixed for future releases. I'm reviewing the other two Rainmakers after this, and while their videos will be more or less the exact same, I intend to shake things up a little for each of them. This has been Kit Katastrophe. Transform and roll out.